Welcome back to Too Sexy to Shrink. The last episode, I share something that I felt was really important. I told you that this podcast was pivoting because for years I spoke about narcissistic abuse because that chapter in my life deserved to have a voice. But healing eventually asks a different question of us. Not what happened to you, but who are you right in this moment? Because here's something that I've come to realize that I honestly didn't know who Kathy was. Not really, anyway. I knew who everyone needed me to be. I knew how to make people feel comfortable. I knew how to avoid conflict, and I knew how to earn approval. I knew how to become whatever version of myself kept everyone else happy. And looking back, I definitely felt like a circus monkey, always performing, always adjusting, always hoping that if I got it right, then I'd finally feel like I was enough. And the problem is, when you've spent decades performing, eventually you forget who's underneath the costume. There's fascinating neuroscience behind this too, because I like to pepper everything with science. Our brains are designed to seek connection because thousands of years ago, belonging meant surviving. Being rejected by your tribe could literally mean death. That wiring still exists today, except now we're afraid of things like disappointing someone, posting our opinion online, wearing something different, or changing careers, or simply saying no. Our nervous system often reacts as though judgment equals danger, but judgment isn't danger, it's discomfort. And healing is teaching your nervous system the difference. That got me thinking about something people call a midlife crisis. What if we've been labeling it wrong all along? What if it's not a crisis at all? What if it's for the first time in our lives that we are accumulating enough wisdom to stop caring so much about fitting into everyone else's expectations and agendas? Maybe it's not falling apart. Maybe it's finally waking up. Maybe it's finally saying, for me, I've spent 40, maybe 50, 60 years living for someone else. Now I want to meet myself. And I don't think this only applies to people my age. If you look at teenagers today, never before have young people been more connected, yet so terrified of being seen. Social media constantly asks, am I enough? Will I fit in? Imagine spending your most vulnerable years believing your worth depends on likes, comments, and whether you belong. And no wonder anxiety and depression are everywhere. No wonder so many people feel exhausted. We are all performing different stages, different costumes, but same fear. And the irony, the people we're trying so hard to impress are usually doing the exact same thing. Here's what I've learned and come to realize, that the people who truly belong in your life don't love your performance. They love your authenticity. And the ones who leave because you become more yourself were attached to the version of you that kept them comfortable, not the real you. Healing isn't learning to be fearless. It's becoming committed to your authentic self, to your authenticity, more than your need for approval. And that is huge freedom. Not because everyone agrees with you, but because your peace no longer lives depending on whether they do. So today I want to leave you with one question. If no one could judge you, who would you become? What would you wear? What would you say? And what would you stop apologizing for? Because I have a feeling that person isn't someone you have to create. She's someone who's been there waiting her whole life to finally be let out. So until next time, I want you to stay curious. I want you to stay authentic. And remember, you are far too sexy to shrink.